from where you at. I came here for vengeance, watch your back. No need to defend, I'm on attack. Sorry they can't reply, but I guarantee they had a blast. Pop, 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 I be on the next Olympia. I am fresh to death.
Welcome back to the Long Haul Mentality. I'm your host, as always, Nick Bagley, and this week I have Miss Olympia Figure on the podcast, Rhea Gayle. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good. That's great. It's great to see you again.
And you.
It's been cool seeing you up at the destination here lately.
Mm-hmm.
You guys all moved in and everything?
Yes, literally like round the corner from destination. So that's going to be like home base for the weekend.
That's awesome. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all buy a home or did y'all rent over there?
Renting at the minute, yeah.
Yeah, same. It's the market right now is just ridiculous. So we're going to hold off for that for a little bit. But how have you been? How are you liking the area? Is it nice being over at destination now?
It's nice. It's a nice change of pace. And I've never really like spent time over this way. But the area is really nice and there's lots of like little bits and bobs to do. So I really enjoy it.
I'm going to end up picking up your slang terms over here because I have a UK client, Zach Leeson, and I spent a week with him at the at Vegas for the Olympia, and I said "in it" in a sentence, and they all just like, "Wait, did you just do that?" I was like, "Oh crap!" I picked it up right away, so I'm going to end up using your slang before the end of this podcast. How have you been? How have things been going since the Olympia?
Good. Things have been good. You know, we kind of jumped into an off-season straight away in terms of having a bit of a health phase, bumping those calories up and kind of go. Like plan is set, time to go. So we can't really like waste a day or any days. So, you know, it's kind of been step off the Olympia stage and the focus is already for next year.
And how do you feel about that right now? Like, do you feel like you're locked in and ready to do that, or do you feel like you need like a little breather?
I feel like the breather. I'm one that definitely like thrives off momentum. So, kind of having a breather post Olympia would have kind of not set me back, but I prefer to get stuck in, get into the new routine, and then a breather can come where I'm able to pause, but already still have that momentum.
That's good. That's good. I like that because, I think a lot of people make decisions after shows when emotions are heightened. And I think that making decisions in an emotional state leads to poor decision making. So allowing yourself that time of like still keep that structure, stay locked in, get myself back to a place where I can kind of go, okay, let's assess, let's look around, let's see how things go. I think that's great. And it has that always how you've been after a show, or did it take you some time to figure that out?
It's taken some time, and I think everyone's had that kind of post-show phase where you go like crazy with everything, and then you're like, oh my God, like, how do I get out of this hole? And like mentally, I'm like, I never kind of want to do that again. That was my like post-Olympia 2020. So since then, I've always been like, okay, have a plan of action straight away. Lean into that plan, and then when you're in a place that you can have that breather with those habits, then that comes.
Yep. And it's just that thing of like, you know how it is when you're in prep, you start remembering how food tastes and how it feels to like not feel exhausted and all that kind of stuff. And you start to like put it on a pedestal like, this is going to be amazing when I can do it again. But then you realize that like you have that shitty food, you eat the thing that you wanted and it was really enjoyable at that time. You enjoyed that moment, but then an hour later, your stomach's bloated, you're gassy, like all these things come along with it. You feel like shit, training's not good. Like it's cool for a minute. And then after a while, it really bugs you, So I think that's great that you stay in control like that. Is that something that Kuba taught you, or is that something that you kind of had to figure out yourself?
It's kind of, like I said, post 2020 season, it was like a lesson and I was like, don't really want to do that again. But also with Kuba, he's very big on we don't get sloppy in off seasons. You want to set yourself up for the next season that always starts with an off season. And he's always said, when I started working with him at the end of 2021, after the 2021 Olympia, was you're one good off season away from making a change.
Yep.
Or like one good off season away from hitting that goal. So that's always been kind of in the back of my mind.
Yep. Yeah, and it's really smart because the thing is like people look at the off season and go, it's my time to get as big as I possibly can because that's what's going to make me better. And then they chase just size, you know, and then at some point you realize, oh, I'm way fatter than I need to be, you know, and like how productive was it really? But I want to go back to something you touched on. You said something about the 2020 Olympia. Can you walk me through what happened there and what you're alluding to as far as like never wanting to see that again?
So that was my second Olympia. And the best placing I'd had, like my first Olympia, I was 13th. 2020 Olympia, I was best shape of my career at the time and placed 9th. So I made my big goal of making finals at an Olympia. And with that excitement and being in Florida, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. Another thing as well, I'll kind of jump back to, it was like, oh, the food in America at the time was like, oh my God, this is all so new. I want to try 5-0 donuts. I want to try this at Universal. I want to try this, this, and this. So young Rhea was like, yeah, let's go for it. And I just, from seeing myself in the best condition to like a week later being like, what the heck? So that's kind of what I allude to. And then it's like kind of sets you up for not a good off season.
Right. Okay. So in that week, how much did you gain?
For the life of me, I can't remember. It was more like a visual like change than I can remember on scale weight, if that makes sense.
Right. Going to take a quick break from the podcast to bring a few things to your attention. First off, as I was going through the YouTube analytics, I noticed that almost 70% of my watchers are not subscribed. So if you're watching this right now, please do me a favor and click that subscribe button. Every single time I get a new subscriber, comments, likes, and shares, this helps spread the podcast more, and I really, really appreciate you guys. This podcast has no paid sponsorships, so the best way for you to support my channel is to support my sponsors. So Labrada Pro Series is my supplement sponsor. We have a full line of products with some new ones coming. The pre-workout is on the way right now, and the new Labrada Nutrition RTD pre-workout is about to hit the market as well. On top of Labrada Pro Series, I also have Gasp and Better Bodies, and then I also have Authentic Aminos. Please go support these companies. Use my code Bagley10 for Labrada Pro Series, Bagley 15 for Gasp and Better Bodies, and Bagley for Authentic Aminos. Thanks, guys. Let's get back to the podcast. So is it just like really puffy? Like what can you...
It was like puffy, abs fading really quickly, and just like feeling sluggish and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you went in, huh?
Yeah.
Were you already living in the US at that time? When did you move to the US?
I moved to the US 2022, March of 2022. Yeah.
Okay, so that's when we met because you were down in Houston at the time. You and Zach were down there, right? Okay, cool, awesome. So you were still in the UK in 2020, and how long after the Olympia were you here? So you were here that whole week and indulged that whole time, or
so the post-Olympia 2020 was still COVID.
Oh yeah, true.
So I had to kind of skip or be very clever in terms of what I'd done to avoid going back into another lockdown, because the journey to the 2020 Olympia, I had to go to Spain. I was then in Paris. I then was in Mexico for 2 weeks and then to Florida for the Olympia.
Wow.
And then afterwards I remember it was just after Christmas, I believe. And the news in the UK was saying, we're thinking about going into another lockdown. And I was like, I can't mentally do that, because that was like my whole summer and like my whole prep for 2020. So I actually went to Mexico for like 2 months.
Okay.
I was just being such a nomad. But I went to Mexico for 2 months. I was training out there, found a gym. I was in a little studio Airbnb for 2 months. And yeah.
What part of Mexico?
Cancun.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was great. It
Yeah.
was like bodybuilding has taken me to so many different places. It's taught me so many different things.
Yeah.
And just to, like, in that situation, if you want something bad enough, you just have to be brave enough to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, that's cool. So you were in Mexico was it still 2020 or was it 2021?
It is 2021.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then did you end up going back to the UK before you moved to the US in 2022?
Yes.
You
Yes.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
But everything had kind of relaxed a little bit, at least? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Still was travel issues because I competed at the Europa Pro in 2021. And throughout 2021, you still had to be out of the UK before coming to the States for 2 weeks. So for the Olympia for 2021, I was in Dubai for 2 weeks before then flying to Orlando again for peak week.
Oh, geez.
Yes. So
Good grief.
Yeah.
Do you have any issues with like flying and peaking?
No. If anything, I think I am lucky in the sense that I almost get better if I travel. Kuba, don't kill me. I know you don't like it when I travel, but I don't. I'm not like heavily affected by travel.
It's interesting because that's the thing we always hear of, like, oh, I'll make sure you travel like super far in advance so you can not have any issues. And like for the most part, I'm sure somebody was going to comment and be like, no, I have issues with it, but I feel like the majority of people I talk to don't tend to have too many issues as long as you like stay hydrated and you don't do anything dumb.
Yeah,
the
hydration and not eating the airplane cookies.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely difficult when like you've been sitting in a plane if you're flying international and it's like a 16-hour flight, that sort of thing. But usually it doesn't take that long. I mean, I should say that my client Zach did have one day of being a little watery when he first flew over, and it was more or less just because he was sitting down. So yeah, we do see it, but I'm just curious there. But so 2020. You go from a great placing at the Olympia, like improved on it, like the look, that sort of thing, to a crazy binge. So now what is leading into the 2021 look like?
2021, I done the Europa in July and I came second to Jessica Reyes-Padilla. And then the week after I went to Portugal and competed in Portugal and got the win. So got my next qualification for the Olympia. And it was this 2021 Olympia, which was like my worst ever placing at a show. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never been in the sea of 16. And I feel like everybody has that moment in their career where you either let it define you or you use it as okay, I'm going to come back and be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I see everything as a lesson.
So you had a bad off season leading into your worst showing, right?
It wasn't necessarily because, yes, it wasn't a great off season, but it didn't make much of a difference because I still won a show.
Right.
And placed second and then won a show. Right. It was the Olympia prep. There was just issues there that shouldn't have been issues, and it was like after prejudging of that Olympia that I started working with Kuba. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So from 2022 to now, you guys have been working together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing you when you first moved out here, and like it was always like you'd turn around and do your back pose, and it was like, what the heck is that? Like you've always had just this crazy back that it's always I'm jealous of it. As someone who always wanted a wild back, like yours is awesome. it was one of those things of like, you could just see it of like, if this just continues to do exactly what it's doing, like this can be Miss Olympia. And we were correct, you know. Has that settled in at all that you're a Miss Olympia?
Not yet. I think it's like not an identity crisis, but something that I'm just like, it's a goal that has been there. It's a goal that has been there that didn't feel, it was one of my like mega goals.
Hey, Rhea, the mic is hitting yeah, it's hitting the zipper. There you go. There we go. Cool.
Oh my God, I'll hold it.
You're good.
It was one of my like super goals. I wouldn't tell anybody. It was been in my book because it's kind of outlandish to say, you know, one day I want to be Miss Olympia. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I always say to people, set your goals high. People don't have to know about it, but like my goal for this year, especially being 5th last year, was to 1, improve, and 2, be in the top 3. Improve my placing, be in the top 3. So I think that's why it came as such a shock to me when they announced my name, because I was like, wait, this has happened so quickly. It's not happened quickly because I've been pushing at the Olympia for the past 7 of them, but it's happened so quickly because some people never get that. Some people never make the Olympia. Some people never make the top 10 or the top 5 or the top 3. So it felt like it happened very quickly. So I feel like even now, coming up to 8 weeks post-Olympia, I'm still very much like, whoa, I've done it. I've like completed the side quests, hit the main quest, and like the end credits are now rolling. It's like, whoa, okay, we did it.
Yeah, you did. But like the thing is, and I've tried to say this to a number of different clients, is like, regardless of what show it is, right? Regardless of whether it's the Olympia or a pro show or just your local show, you go in, you win, you get the praise, but the next day, guess what? You're doing the same thing you did the day before. You're lifting the weights, you're eating the food, you're doing the cardio, you're doing the steps. It is the same process, whether you are Mr. or Miss Olympia or whether you were the person who just started, you know, and that like they're like, yes, like you're right, like the end credits are rolling, like you did the thing, right? You did the thing that you were supposed to do and you won the show. Like you know, like that's awesome, but like there's still so much more that can be had. And like, how do you see that? What do you see? Like I know it's only been an 8-week period of time and like you're probably still trying to understand like what the hell just happened, but what do you see going forward with this?
That's a really good question. But I think for me, it's like I'm not going to change because I feel like I know people like, Rhea, you have to like sit with this and like, what are you going to do with the title and this? And I'm like, I have my plans for it, but also I can't get distracted by it because the Olympia is going to be here like this. Like the end of the year is 4 weeks away. The Olympia would have been 12 weeks away. That's 3 months. Then prep's going to start in another 4 months. So it's that of I'm sitting with it, I'm appreciating it, I'm grateful for it, but I can't let it consume me because I know that there's still work to be done. I was happy with my package and the changes that we made in a year to balance the physique, but that's not my final form. I know that I can be better, do better. There's body parts that still can be improved. So to be able to win with that and now know that I have like 9 months, that's still the forefront of my mind. If that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. Like the fun part about this podcast is that I get to collect data across a number of different people, right? I get to hear how people think about these things. And the number one thing that I see from the most successful people is exactly what you said of like, yeah, I did the thing, but it can be better. And that's why we love bodybuilding. That's why this is fun, because like the most perfect bodybuilder on the planet, there's still things that can be improved. There's still things that can be tweaked. And again, it goes back to our conversation about the off-season stuff of like, people believe that improvement needs to be beaten into you, right? Of like, if I'm not suffering, I'm not making progress. So like, if they are not uncomfortable with food, if they're not pushing the drugs, they're not pushing the training and doing more volume and doing the intensifiers, like, then they're not progressing. But the honest reality of it is like, what you did took you from your worst placing ever to winning the Olympia in what, 3 years?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
so why would anything need to change? You know?
Yeah.
What do you see as far as like, obviously you're just going to keep going. You're going to keep showing up and doing the thing. Like, do you have any thoughts as to like what your legacy is going to be? Like, are you wanting to show up and win it 10 times? Like, is there anything like that? Or are you just like showing up?
Just to show up and be Rhea and display Rhea on stage, and for what I bring, who I am, and what I give back to be my legacy, rather than I haven't sort of thought about, oh, this is how many titles I want or how many wins I want. It's how I want to be remembered for me and just how I showed up.
I love that. This is why people love you, right? Like that is such an honest answer, and like I like to hear that. That's awesome. And like I wonder if that will change at all once you've like let's say 2026 you go back to the Olympia, defend your title, you become 2-time champ. I wonder if like you start to stack them together, if now that starts to creep in your head. But I think the only thing, the number one thing for anyone listening that they can take away from what you just said is the only thing that you are in control of is it being better than what you were when you won. Yeah. Right. Because if you improve off of what you just did, why would you not win again? Right. Like you've already beaten the other girls at what was their best, right? Hopefully. Right. So why would you not win again? Right. So it's that kind of thought process. So I wonder if that'll change over the years. So well, I'll definitely be asking you that question again after you win number 2, 3, 4. But I want to ask you about some of these, the things that you put out here recently of like, you set goals that were outside of the bodybuilding realm and surprise people. There's more than just winning shows that can be goals. And you talked about like speaking a little bit more and speaking more, and what was the other one? Saying yes to more things?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk me through that. Talk to me, like, where did those come from?
I believe those came from just anybody that knows me, anybody that's kind of in my circle knows I can be a very like reserved person. And especially after winning the title, I didn't just want to be quiet. I don't intentionally go quiet. It's just who I am. If there's something I need to focus on, I focus on it. I can't put everything out on social media and because I'm just like so focused and locked in on the task. But having the title, I feel like there's a responsibility for people to get to know me, and the title kind of gave me a little bit of confidence that Rhea, you can.
Yep.
Because sometimes, again, with my motto of no more fear, no more doubt, I kind of doubt myself a little bit. Even when I placed top 5, I was kind of like, are they sure? Me? Like, and then with the win, I'm like, okay, no, Rhea, this proves that like,
yes,
you are good enough. Because I always have that like moments of doubt of like, did I deserve to win? Was I really meant to win? Like, I have that era of doubt. So I think saying yes to more things and putting myself out there more, it's okay.
Right. But that thought process is why you are successful, right? Like that thing of like, am I really good enough, is because you have put so much into this and because you care about it and you love it. Right. And anyone who succeeds at a high level is going to go through that thing of like, they call it imposter syndrome. Right.
Yes.
And, you know, I said this to my media guy a little while back, because he asked me a question. He was thinking about doing some mentorship stuff. And he's like, man, I just don't know, like, what are people going to think about this? Because like I've never mentored anyone, so I kind of have like imposter syndrome. And I responded back immediately. I said, "Well, you are an imposter because you've never done it, right?" And like Rhea, you've never been Miss Olympia, right? So like to a certain degree, you are an imposter, right? Because you don't know what it means yet. But once you've spent some time in it and you've done that thing and you have been the person who's leading the flag for the figure division or leading the way for the figure division, like you'll start to get more comfortable and understand what that means. So what are some things that you have said yes to that maybe you wouldn't have in the past? And what have you been doing to talk some more?
I think more podcasts. I've said yes to doing more podcasts, doing my kind of weekly challenge of like talking to the camera, because that's something that I'm just like terrible at. Doing more like posing seminars, so just immersing myself around people because I love that. But again, I sometimes just get a bit like, oh, but it's little things like that and just putting myself out there more with everything.
Right. And just like little it's not like you have to decide that you want to go speak in front of 10,000 people tomorrow. You know, like
right.
if it has to start with you just talking to your phone, that's where it has to start. You know what I mean? But no, I think that's great. I think people will be very responsive to like who Rhea is, you know, and like it's been a pleasure to be able to know you over the last few years, you and your husband both. And like Zach will tell you, like anytime he's working a show, like I go right to him and I'm just shooting the shit with him for a bit. Like it was great to see him and James out at the Ben Weeder a couple of weeks ago. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Are you going to be doing any travel here soon for
I'm going to be at the NPC Women's Workshop, but haven't really kind of set much travel. I know that prep is going to start in April, so from January to April, I'll have that flexibility of doing bits and bobs. I'd like to get back to the UK.
I love it. I love it. It's great. Yeah, so you want to go back to the UK and see family and stuff?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Are you going to try to do that for Christmas, or are you going to be a little bit later?
Probably sometime in the new year, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be nice. Hopefully it's not too, well, I guess I shouldn't even say that. It's going to be aggressively cold.
Well, here is aggressively cold right now.
I was just about to ask you, like, are you excited for the weather that we have right now, or is...
No, I'm very accustomed to Texas summers. So as soon as the weather drops, I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's a very different cold here. Like the UK gets cold around Christmas time, but it feels different. But when it's cold here, it's like it has no mercy.
It's interesting. Our people don't believe me when I tell them that our winters are like, we might not get a lot of snow and stuff, but Jesus, sometimes I walk outside and it's like, I can't get warm.
Yeah, it can be rough.
I was at the gym early this morning because I shot content, and I had to go drink a cup of coffee just to get warmed up while inside the gym. I was like, this is terrible, man. So obviously you have a game plan already of like what you're going to do to try and defend your title. But what was that conversation between you and Kuba like for what you could do to be better the next season?
It was more of a... Interestingly, it was more of a Kuba saying, like, I told you could do this. Like, now you have to believe in yourself. And now, like, it starts.
Yep.
So it wasn't so much a game plan of, like, what we need to do. Like, we have a game plan, but, like, the conversations after have kind of been like, you've done it. Now you have to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably going to be the biggest improvement season.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is like your feedback for what you needed to be better has always kind of been the same thing. And every time you've gotten that feedback, you guys have gone back and done the same thing, and it's just gotten better each time. It's like you're just slowly getting closer and closer. And like I said it to you when we saw you after the Olympia, is like your legs came up so much, like it really, really came up and matched just how spectacular like your upper frame was. So what did you guys do that you think really helped move the needle with that?
Less upper body training. Literally. Barely any back movements.
Yeah.
Lateral raises. Barely any presses. And legs 2 times a week. Training 3 days a week.
3 days a week?
Legs. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like, I remember I was talking about it on my story, or like people were like, seriously, you train 3 days a week? And I'm like, yes. It hasn't always been like that. I remember I was doing a push-pull legs and I was training 6 days a week with 1 day rest. But that was when everything needed to come up. And that's when my upper body ended up taking over. So I think it's very important for people to realize that, especially depending on what division you're doing, there is going to be a cap to what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So 2023 was like the big change for me. I remember Tyler said to me, upper body really needs to come down. And I was like, we're not hitting it that much, but I get it. And I was like, compared to other people, I was like, my upper body isn't that big, but because of my frame, and then when I pose, it was just taking over everything. So it was kind of, the density was more women's physique than figure. And then we managed to kind of streamline that a little bit for 2024. And Tyler said again, streamline the upper body a little bit more, legs up a little bit. So that was really the focus leading into 2025. So we manipulated that by the training frequency and exercise selection. And still we've been on 3 days a week.
That's so wild. I was going to make the joke that like you're training like a wellness girl, but you're not even training like a wellness girl because you're only training legs twice a week. But
Twice
that
a
like,
week.
that's wild. So it's just been a slow kind of chopping away of doing upper body volume, or did you guys get rid of upper body completely?
No, it's just been a chipping away,
Okay.
and just alternating what's more dominant in the upper body session. So
Okay.
1 week we'll start with shoulders, finish with some back. The next week, start with back, finish with some shoulders.
Okay.
But it's been very minimal.
So how do you have set days that you go lift, or how do you like rotate
Monday, Wednesday,
those 3
Saturday.
days?
Monday upper, Wednesday legs 1, Saturday legs 2.
You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm losing you a little bit. I'm going to pause it. Cool. A little technical difficulty there. So how do you rotate those days?
So Monday I do upper, Wednesday I do legs 1, Saturday I do legs 2.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever separated out the leg days like that? Like put the upper between the 2 leg days, or why do you do them back to back like that?
We used to alternate. We used to do like upper legs rest, upper legs. But now legs 1, I get 2 days to recover until legs 2. And legs 1 is more quad focused, legs 2 hamstring glutes. So it's managing recovery, and it's just what has worked well for me.
Cool. Yeah, I was just curious. That's awesome. So, I mean, how hard is it to not train? At this point, you're not training more than you're training less than you're not training.
Literally, it's a little bit insane, because it literally feels like I don't train, but obviously I do. But where I'm at now in my career, recovery has been the best thing for my physique. And it's brought the best look to my physique. So I've kind of got used to it. Obviously, there's days where I'm like, I just want to go. But I'm very used to my schedule now. I'm such a creature of habit, so I'm very used to it.
Yeah, it's funny because like on paper, if somebody saw your program, they'd be like, this is insane. This won't work. Right. And that's the funniest, coolest part about bodybuilding, right? Is like everybody, for the most part, everybody fits into like, this is what works, right? Like these are the things that we know work well for people, right? But then something like this comes out where it's like, oh, you train 3 days a week and you get the results. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. So it's like there is no right or wrong. There's only a good response. You know, at the end of the day, that's what matters, is how good the response is. I think I might be losing you again.
I can hear you.
Did you hear anything I was saying there at the end? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's good. But yeah, it's so interesting of how like we can think that this is the right way to do things, but then you do something like this and it gets results. So like, who cares if it's right or wrong, you know?
Absolutely.
Did it take you some time to like settle into that of like, all right, I'm not going to train?
It took a little bit of time, but also I was able to give more to my sessions, knowing like this is what's set, this is the time period now that I have to recover. So my lifts were getting better. So it was kind of like, okay, an adjustment, but a good adjustment because I was able to get a lot of benefit out of it.
Yeah, you saw the benefits of it coming. So that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. What does volume look like in those sessions?
It's so. Again, I think honestly, if someone was to see my sessions, they'd kind of be like, but it works for me.
Yeah.
I've had training split. I think I've done everything. I've done upper lower. I've done push pull legs. I've done bro split, but this is like worked the best for me balancing my physique.
That it's just so wild. That's why bodybuilding's so fun. Like that's exactly what I was just saying. Like that's so cool. I think it's cooler that like your program does look that way. You know, because like you're going, well, cool, yeah, you're doing all these crazy fancy things, but I just won the Olympia doing the most simple stuff that you wouldn't believe.
I don't deadlift anymore.
Oh boy, you're a strong deadlifter too. I remember watching you do RDLs at Labrada.
Yeah. My God, I think my deadlift now would be about 45 pounds.
Nah, you'd get it back in a couple of weeks. You'd find that groove again. But so what do your leg sessions look like?
So if I do like a quick run through of legs 1, I have seated hamstring curl, leg extension, leg press, single leg press, and calves.
It's good.
Yeah. 4 sets on seated hamstring curl, 3 sets on leg extension, 3 sets on leg press, 2 sets on single leg press, 2 sets of calves.
I mean, with the way I know you can train, like that amount of volume is perfect. Like that's the thing of like, it's not like you're you haven't been doing this for a long time, you know, like you've been doing this for a long time and you understand what it takes to put intensity behind a set. And I think that's another conversation I've had a number of times now of like, a lot of the stuff coming up now is like, don't fatigue yourself. Don't go to failure. Try to reduce fatigue absolutely as much as possible. And while I agree, like, yeah, we should be managing fatigue, at the end of the day, the intensity has to be there. Like if you were to say that, oh, I'm training 3 days a week and I look at you train and you're just kind of like moving some 5-pound dumbbells around and just kind of floating around or whatever and talking to your friend, like, all right, yeah, maybe 3 days a week's not going to be enough for you. But like, I've watched you train. I know how hard you can train. So like if you're putting enough into it, like you said, like you're going to see yourself progress week to week. What's been the biggest thing that's Kuba's helped you with since you started working with him?
Everything. I'm like, have you met Kuba? He is such just a meticulous person, and I am meticulous, clearly, but I also have like my ways. I am who I am. I can be a little bit of a scatterbrain, a little bit of a bobblehead, a little bit of my sleep is all over the place sometimes. But he's really like over these past like 4 years helped me level up mentally and physically each year. So everything.
Did you know him in the UK before you started working with him?
I've known Kuba since 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. And Megs has been my best friend since we were like 14.
Okay.
So they've both always been in the background of my preps, which is why after the 2021 Olympia pre-judging, I'd FaceTime Megs after every show, like pre-judging, in between pre-judging and finals. And I just remember us talking and Kuba was like, I know what you're like. I know that you need a plan. So tell me what you like. you can follow it if you want to, but I know you like to have some structure after a show. And I was like, do you know what? I love that. Let's just see what happens. Here we
So
are.
were you doing it yourself before that?
No, I had a coach. I've
Okay.
always had a coach. I've
I
never
gotcha.
self-coached ever.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's cool. I mean, I'd been trying to get Kuba on the podcast. So like, if he sees this, hey, Kuba, come on, man, let's do this.
Yeah, he's great.
But Kuba's always been very like welcoming, very friendly to me. We chatted a number of times, and I like what Kuba has to say. You know, like he's very smart, and I've definitely learned a ton from him over the years. So it's been cool to see like what he's done with you. You know, and I think it's a testament to him as a coach of understanding that like, let's slow roll this. Like you don't have to try and jump from your placing in 2020 to first the next year. It's like, we know that we can see the improvements and we are moving the needle towards what it is that we want, but we don't need to rush this. And I think that's where things start to go wrong, is when people try to rush that process. And that's when you start to lose the shape and all those different kinds of things. So y'all been playing a great game with that.
It's bodybuilding is a game of grams, you know, so I think some people see my transformations as quick, but they're not. It's, if you look at 24 to 25 or 23 to 24, it's, the progression is there, but it's bodybuilding is a game of grams. So it's kind of, we're in it for the long game, not just instant gratification.
Yep. So what's the game plan for the off season? Like, what are you guys trying to improve right now? Are you trying to like put a weight on? Like what's that look like right now? What's the thing you need to do to be bigger or better?
So health phase is done, where like food is bumped up. My weight likes to not stick. It likes to kind of fall a little bit as soon as we like push food up, but the goal is to kind of get weight up, not excess body fat, make sure performance in the gym is good, but also it's we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Like, we've just won, but we're not trying to bring a whole new package to the Olympia next year, because it's crazy to say what I bought is now the standard. Yes, there's improvements to be made. My feedback for the Olympia was work on my side poses.
Okay.
So it was crazy to...
From what standpoint? From a posing standpoint, or
posing standpoint?
Okay.
So to have that feedback of not being, Rhea, you need to bring your legs up, or Rhea, you need to bring your upper body down. It was literally those side poses.
Something in your control.
So it's, because it's in my control, that is a focus of my off season as well. Making sure side poses, even when my weight is going up, I still have that mobility.
Right.
Working on my mobility, working on my LPF and hyperpressives. So all things that are in my control that then translate to a better physique come stage time, because it's not necessarily all about packing on as much size as possible, especially in figure.
Yes. Yeah. So with that side pose, from your perspective, was it a mobility thing? Was it an issue like that day you just thought you were in the right position and you weren't? Like, what does that look like?
So this season, my back has been an issue, like, in terms of like a hurt standpoint. So my mobility and my side poses, because of my subscap and like my lat is like stuck on my ribs. So I've been having body work every single week since probably June of last year. Wow. So in my side poses, it creates an issue that when I'm trying to come round, it will pull my shoulder up. So then it makes my side pose a little bit narrow. It makes it more like this than like
versus
this.
Yeah.
So it's taken a lot of work. And then 4 days after Texas Pro, winning Texas Pro, I was training legs, never crazy, especially in a post-show phase. Never crazy. Last rep on leg press, I hurt my lower back. So I was like, okay, we've got the Olympia. I can't like leg press. So I couldn't like leg press properly in my Olympia prep. Posing, I couldn't like pose for like 10 days.
Oof.
So there was like issues leading into the Olympia in that sense. And it was never like I'm going to make that woe is me, my back's an issue. But I was fighting with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea. So what have you like, are you incorporating anything besides the tissue work to help with that?
Mobility. And I will be seeing a chiro just for my left side.
Okay.
To sort my scapular out.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing because as like any bodybuilder, anyone who does this thing, it's like we live in this plane, right? Like everything is forward and back, right? Like we do some things like out to the sides and whatnot, but like we don't do anything in rotation, right? And if you can't rotate, right, you have an issue with your lat or your subscap or whatever it might be, and you can't disassociate your pelvis and your rib cage and get those two things to move there. Like there's so many things that can inhibit. And when you have 4 poses and half of them are you having to turn to the side, like that's an incredibly important thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that like bodybuilders could use to improve, is like make sure that you have good rotational ability. You're not just orienting yourself sideways, you're actually being able to rotate through things. You know what I mean? Yeah. So have you already noticed a shift in that with incorporating the mobility stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever tried dry needling? Have you ever gotten that done?
I have had dry needling, shockwave, especially from being a diver. I've like had the works.
Yeah.
But it is when in this improvement season exploring more options, because it sometimes gets to the point where I can't even sit on the sofa without like a burning sensation through my trap. So it's been an issue. It's not stopped me from doing anything. It's not been like oh my God, Rhea, like, why are you posing like that? It was literally that Lola's side pose looked wider than mine because my shoulder was up.
Yeah.
So it's slight fixes, but there was a reason to why things looked a little bit like that. So
is it a burn like in the middle of your traps, or is it up at the top?
It's up at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, I get one that's like at the bottom of my my low traps. Like that'll tighten up really bad. And the only thing that ever helps me is dry needling, just because of like where it is, and like it's coming a lot from my erectors, and then like also after having hernia surgery, my obliques on this side aren't that great anymore. Like from a contraction standpoint.
Yeah.
But, Ray, I'm so excited for you. Like I remember seeing you at the expo, like the day after you won, and like the look that you gave was like just this deer in the headlights of like, I can't believe this just happened. And like, it's so cool to see. And I'm very, very excited to see what you do and how you're able to push the figure division forward from here. So
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, what are you got any things coming up here soon? I know you said you had some posing seminars and stuff going on. I know you did one at Destination not that long ago.
Yep, recently done one in Destination, planning one for in the new year. I'll be at the Battle of Texas and Nationals. So super excited to see that upcoming figure talent.
Yeah. I'll be there at Battle. I've just got a super in the battle bodybuilding, but I'll be there for that, and I'll be there for Nationals too. So it'll be good to see you out there. Awesome. It was just a couple of years ago that you were taking Ev out to the light show between prejudging and finals.
Yeah, literally, I remember that like it was yesterday.
It's crazy. That's been 2 years ago now. Time flies, man. I mean, like. Back then, I couldn't believe I had a 3-year-old. Now I can't believe I have a 5-year-old. It's just it gets crazier by the day. He's in karate. It's ridiculous.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, I feel like I get older by the day at this point now that he's in my life. Like I'm only 32, but I feel like I'm 45 because I have because I have a kid. But Ray, I'm super excited for you. I'm so glad that you're in this area, and I definitely am excited to see you up at Destination a little bit more. Anything you want to promote or plug right quick? Like, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Rhea with 2 A's, Gayle, posing at the posing portal, supplements, Evogen. But yeah, anyone needs me, my DMs are always open.
Yeah, I forgot. Like the posing portal is like a full online posing. Is it directly one-on-one with you, or is it like
Absolutely?
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
it's like a subscription site.
Okay,
so per month you get a posing check-in where you send your video, we review it, send it back, a little bit like you would do training check-ins, form checks, as well as sessions, and the sessions can also be used online or in person.
that's awesome. Is it only for figure, or do you do like?
I do all divisions.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I have some females this year, so I'll definitely make sure that they reach out to you if we need some posing.
For sure.
Awesome, Rhea. Well, I appreciate you so much. I know that this was one of the things that you were trying to work on, so it means a lot to me that you would come on here and chat with me for a little bit. But we will see you next time. For everybody who is still watching at this moment, make sure you do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave us a comment, tell us who you want to see next time, and we'll see you on the next podcast.